Today we're going to learn how to convert mixed numbers into improper fractions. So before we start with that, why? Why do we have to do that? Mathematics is really all about composing and decomposing numbers. Math has all of these systems and rules that when we understand them, we can manipulate them and move them around so that it makes it easier for us when we're problem solving. So that's part of why we want to learn how to rewrite a mixed number as an improper fraction. Is they're still the same value, it's the same amount, but when we write them in different forms, it can help us make the math easier. Real quick, I'm the Math Marvel Mentor, and I've been a mathematics educator for over 17 years. And I am all about what we just talked about, answering why, answering your questions. Why are we doing what we're doing? If we are in math and we are just simply memorizing steps, you are not learning. We're not learning that way. And really, to be able to make sense of what we're doing, we need to ask how and we need to ask why. And why is math important to you right now? In middle school, mathematics nationwide, when we look at the data, only 27% of students are proficient, which means only 27% of kids are at grade level. That means more than 70% of kids are in middle school and they're below in math. They're not understanding what they're doing at all. And then as we move into high school, that number drops even more down to 19%. So why are you here? Why am I here? I'm here to help you understand why math is important and how you can make better sense of it, how you can start to understand it and not be a part of that decline in mathematics. We need to be on the up and up, and I'm here to show you the how and the why of math. Okay, so why do we even need to know how to convert a mixed number into an improper fraction? One of the reasons why we need to know how to do this, or when we do this, is when we are dividing or multiplying fractions with mixed numbers. So if we look at this problem right here, 2 and 3/4 divided by a fourth, okay, this would be a reason why I want to make the math easier. Like I said, the decomposing and composing of numbers is breaking apart and putting them back together, or in this case, we're writing a mixed number just in a different form. And here's a problem that I've worked through. If you want to check out any of my lessons on dividing fractions, here's an example of why we need to know how to convert a mixed number into improper fraction. We're doing this problem right here. 2 and 3/4 divided by a fourth. And first, we want to make sense of this. So I want to actually think about what this means when I'm dividing a fraction by a fraction. So 2 and 3/4, we can see with this visual bar model right here, I have 2 whole bars and then you get 3/4 of those bars. And I'm asking, if I divided that up into equal groups of a fourth, what would that look like? And so remember, a fourth is only one of the 4 bars, right? And so we can see here that I took my 2 whole bars and I just divided them up into fourths, and I counted how many fourths I have total. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I have 11 pieces, and that's my answer. Now I want to check that answer using some operations in mathematics, specifically division. And so when I start with 2 and 3/4, this is not a friendly number for me right now when I want to multiply or divide. We're going to end up multiplying because we're going to use keep, change, flip, okay, and multiply our fractions across. But before we get to that, I have to start with converting this mixed number 2 and 3/4 into an improper fraction. So then it's more simple for me to multiply top times top, bottom times bottom. So let's look at this right here. I'm going to zoom in here. Let's take a look at this here and let's clean this up a little bit. Okay, so we call this, I like to call this method around the world. And the way that we convert this mixed number into an improper fraction is we start with our denominator 4, and we're going to multiply it times 2. So 4 times 2 gives us 8, and then we're going to take that number 8 and we're going to add it to the numerator, which gives us 11. And so we have 11 fourths. Okay, then with our 11 fourths, now I can skip, flip, multiply, or keep, change, flip. So we had 11 fourths divided by 1/4, and I am going to just keep the first term, flip my second term from 1/4 to 4/1, and then multiply. And so when I multiply fractions, I do top times top, bottom times bottom. 11 times 4 would give me 44, and then 4 times 1 would give me 4. And then we have 44 divided by 4, which equals our answer, 11. Okay, and I wanted to show you both so we can kind of think of the long game, like when am I going to use this? Why do I even have to learn how to convert a mixed number to an improper fraction? When we're dividing fractions or multiplying fractions that have mixed numbers, this helps us easier when we're just doing algorithmic type of math where we're just doing the steps. The first bar model that I showed you was to help you make sense of what's actually happening when we're dividing fractions. Okay, but what we saw is this is how it works when we just solve it following some steps, but this is why it works, right? Because whenever we're dividing with fractions, we're thinking about how much does this amount fit into the amount that I'm given, 2 3/4. And we can see here that we got the same answer both times. Okay, so now that you have an understanding of why we even need to do the conversions, let's just simply practice converting mixed numbers into an improper fraction. And the method that I like to use here is we just simply call it around the world, because you're starting at the bottom of your mixed number and you're just moving around it, doing some operations around the world, and rewriting it. What we need to remember is that a mixed number equals an improper fraction. They're the same amount. We're just rewriting it in a different form so that helps us later when we're solving math problems. So if we start here with 3 1/4, we're going to start with our denominator, which is the number on the bottom, 4, and we're going to multiply it by our whole number, 3. And 4 times 3 gives us 12. Okay, then we have 12 plus 1. So I'm moving around the world. Okay, and 12 plus 1 gives me 13. And so I have how many pieces? My pieces are cut into fourths, 13 fourths. And so my answer for 3 1/4 as an improper fraction is 13 fourths. Okay, let's look at another one. Let's do number 2. So we have 2 3/5. So again, I always start with the denominator, 5. I'm going to do 5 times 2, which gives me 10. Okay, and then I have 10 plus my numerator, 3, which gives me 13. And so my answer is 13/5. Now remember, if you're feeling a little confused or you're not sure if you got it right, check it by making a bar model. Here I have 2, okay, I have 2 wholes and 3/5. Remember, the denominator tells us how many pieces are in the whole amount. 2, 3, 4, so I have 5 pieces in my fraction, okay, and then if I cut all of this so that each whole amount has 5 pieces, okay, then I can count how many fifths do I have total. Remember, we only have, on this last one, we don't have a whole bar, we only have 3 out of the 5. So then when I count, I know I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This has 5, so it gives me 10, 11, 12, 13 total. 13, and what size is that piece? It's a fifth, because one whole has 5 pieces. So I have 13 fifths, which is the same as 2 wholes and 3/5. All right, so I just showed you number 1 and 2. If you want to try on your own, here's number 3. We're going to do 4 2/3, and we're simply just working on converting a mixed number into an improper fraction. So if you want to hit pause and try this on your own, go ahead and do that now, and then you can come back and we'll go over the answer. All right, how did you do? So remember to start with the denominator, 3. Remember, the denominator in a fraction tells us how many pieces there are total in the whole. So this is the size of pieces we're working with, thirds. So we're going to keep that in our answer. The denominator stays the same when we have a mixed number and an improper fraction. So 4 and 2/3, I'm going to do 3 times 4 to start. 3 times 4 equals 12. And then I have 12 plus 2, and that gives me 14. So my answer is 14/3. Did you get it? Let's try another one. Okay, number 4, we have 5 and 2/9. Okay, so again, if you want to hit pause and try this on your own, go ahead and do that now. And then now we're going to start with our denominator. And if it helps you to write that at the beginning, the size of our slice, like I like to think of cakes. If I had a sheet pan cake here, okay, 9ths is the size of the slice. So there would be 9 pieces total, and I'm giving you 5 cakes plus 2 out of those 9. So the denominator stays the same. We do 9 times 5, which gives us 45. We're moving around the world, and now I do 45 plus 2, and 45 plus 2 gives me 47, and so my answer would be 47/9. Today you learned how to convert a mixed number into an improper fraction by using the method around the world. We also spent a little bit of time talking about why we even need to do this in the first place, and a very specific example is when we're dividing fractions. If we have mixed numbers, we like to convert those to improper fractions. If you would like the full video lesson on dividing fractions, check out the link in the video description. Do you want to practice these exact problems? I've created a free worksheet with the exact problems we did from this lesson. The link is in the description below. Just click it and download. If this helped you, hit the subscribe button so you never miss a math tutorial. And if you know someone struggling with fractions, share this video. It might be exactly what they need. See you next time.